Good evening and welcome to the public hearing of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It is November 2nd, 2021, and it is 6:30 p.m. I call the public hearing to order. First item, ordinance 2021-28, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 14F, Group A, parcel 1.01 and parcel 14 tax map 14, parcels 36, 36.01, and 36.02, consisting of approximately 8.62 acres located adjacent to 301 Bill Stewart Boulevard from an R1 low-density residential zoning district to a PDR, planned density residential district, zoning district, with a R2 medium-density residential-based zoning district. This time, the podium is open. Anyone is welcome to come forward and speak on this. Sir, if you would please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Steve McGill, 177 Blair Road, Laverne, Tennessee. I'm here tonight to speak against the rezoning of the Bill Stewart property from R1 to PDR R2 zoning. I've been told that this zoning only changes the number of homes from 24 to 28. I don't know how to verify that because I haven't seen the 24 homes platted to see if they would even fit the topography and shape of that property. And while a 4-house increase in the zoning may not seem like much, I'd like to ask you to consider. Is that what you need? I'd like to ask you to consider when, if ever, you will draw the line and say our current zoning is appropriate. How much higher density zoning is enough for you all? Are there any areas of our city that you're willing to protect and say this fits the character of R1 zoning? If your plan is simply to approve every request to allow higher density in an R1 setting by allowing a PDR, please make sure you let the citizens know and make sure to campaign on that promise. We deserve to know where you stand.
Thank you. Again, the podium is open. If anyone would like to speak on this, now is the time. If you would please state your name and address for the record.
Danny Womble, 40 Middleton Street, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the project engineer. This is a 8.62 acre tract. It's located on Bill Stewart beside the fire station. It is a zone change from R1 to R2 with a PDR overlay on the property. This proposal is for 29 lots. The 28 of the lots would be single-family lots for single-family use. They're on 31-foot wide lots with garages in the rear with alley access. There'd be no new driveways on Bill Stewart Boulevard. The houses are for sale. They're not rental houses. There will be an HOA created that will be professionally managed, take care of the open space. The 29th lot is a 4.1 acre lot that, if this is approved, will be given to the city for use for the fire department to build a training center, or if they choose not to use it, then the city can use it for any use the city would like to use it for that would fit in the C1 government and public surface use. So with the approval of this, there is a benefit to the citizens and to the community by this gift of 4.1 acres of land that can be used to build whatever the city deems to be appropriate to build there. So it's designed to honor the Smyrna airport height restrictions, and it meets all of the technical requirements for the PDR zoning. So I would ask you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, the podium is open. If anyone would like to speak on this item, now is the time. Seeing no one else coming forward, I will call the public hearing closed and adjourned, and then we will reconvene at 6:45. Good evening and welcome to the Citizens Forum. It is November 2nd, 2021 at 6:45 p.m. We do have one person signed up. Whenever you come up, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes. Mr. Steve McGill.
I'm Steve McGill. I'm 177 Blair Road, Laverne, Tennessee. Tonight I come to speak against accepting the LOI for a D7-5 LLC for the property at 5175 Murfreesboro Road. Appreciated Alderman Waldron's questions in the workshop on why we would ever sell a piece of property to a private group for less than the appraised value. The mayor's response was that the rent forgiven would equal the discount, but as Mr. Waldron pointed out, if you wait to sell it, there's no need for rent. The only rationale I can see for selling this property at a discount now is that you are convinced the property value is more likely to decline than to increase over the next 2 years. If that's your opinion, please go on the record with that reasoning. If you truly believe your cleanup efforts on Murfreesboro Road and taking business owners to court aren't going to improve the property values, then say so. I'd love a Dairy Queen as much as the next citizen, but I don't believe the city should be subsidizing it for $100,000. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And with that, that was the only person signed up, so we will reconvene at 7 o'clock. Good evening and welcome to the Board Mayor and Aldermen meeting. It is November 2nd, 2021, and it is 7 p.m. Call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Tonight the prayer will be by myself and the Pledge of Allegiance will be with Alderwoman Honeycutt. If everyone would please stand for the prayer and the pledge. Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we just ask that you would put your hand upon our city, that you would bless it, keep all of our men, women, children safe. And we thank you, Lord, for the many blessings that we've already received. We ask that you would be a beacon to us, that we may know you more. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to our order of business. First item is to approve the minutes from the October 5th, 2021 regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I have a motion to approve as submitted by Alderman Coates. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Alderwoman Honeycutt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion passes. Moving on to departmental reports. Chief Beasley, Fire Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. I trust that each one of y'all have got a copy of the monthly report. As you can see, we had a significant drop in runs that's tracking with our EMS runs. So we're back to being where we're at typically this time of year for the month. Do y'all have any questions about the monthly report? Would like to point out that this weekend we have the fall back time change. So this is your opportunity to check your batteries and replace batteries in your smoke alarms, like all the residents, to take a notice of that. It'd be a great time to do it. Also tonight being a very low temperature, we have people that be firing up some fireplaces. So definitely would take that opportunity in the next coming weeks to get those checked, fireplaces checked by somebody, chimneys swept. And as we come into the December, January timeframe, checking on your water spigots to make sure you have those covered so you don't have loss of water and frozen pipes. So good opportunity in the next few months to take care of your home for safety.
Chief, are y'all still doing the fire alarm program as well?
Yes, sir. As part of the Tennessee Fire Marshal's Office, Tennessee Get Alarmed. So if you would like a smoke alarm, we will install those in your home. You can dial our office number at 615-287-5832. And we can get that to you. We'll fill out the application for you, or you can go to the Laverne Fire Department webpage through the city portal to the Tennessee Alarm link, and you can fill out an application online.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
Police Department, Chief Davis.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Aldermen, you have your crime summary for the month of October. Highlights of this month, as you can see, we recovered 11 stolen vehicles this month, but we also had an increase in actual motor vehicle thefts. We had 5. Also, as a result of those vehicles being broken into, there were 3 firearms taken this month that we're actively working cases on now. And if I can, Glenn, if you don't mind, sir. I want to introduce to the board our new automated license plate reader program. It's called a Blue Sentinel. What I did was I had a task for the officers in the department to come up with the name and the logo for the department. And as you all can see, that's our new logo for our new license plate reader program. For those who don't know, we have license plate reader cameras stationed at the intersection of Walton Road and Murfreesboro Road, as well as the intersection of Murfreesboro Road and Fergus in all directions. As you can see, the detail about the program is written here. For those who may have any questions about it, it'll soon be published on all of our platforms on social media if they have any questions about it. Also, for any concerns that anybody may have, there's already been state law that's already been passed that governs the use of this system. Any questions?
Chief, how long do y'all keep images from that?
Our policy is 30 days, and what we have, the information that we receive is only the information from the license plates, no identifiers as far as who's driving the car or anything like that. It's just telling us how many cars are going through and what cars are going through, which is giving us a investigative advantage. Since we've had the program, just in the last 2 weeks, we've already been very successful with that. We've been working some leads on a couple of burglaries that's happened in the area.
And is this something that just anybody in the police department has access to for the data, or is it restricted to specific teams?
So the way that the system is set up, everyone has a user, but they have different rights. Not everyone. So what we have, what is called a hot list, and there's only certain users within the hot list are allowed to. Let's say, for instance, Alderman Coates' car got stolen. We can enter that car into the hot list, but only certain people can do that. And that alert goes out to whoever has the system up. But here's the good thing about this system here. Homeowners associations and businesses and different things like that can get with this company and have these things, they can have them purchased and installed. And it benefits the police department because all of these businesses and the homeowners association have to do is give the police department access to it. So that gives us cameras in their neighborhoods as well as help us out as well too. So it's a benefit for everyone.
Thank you.
So I'll ask my standard question, Chief. Out of the cars that were broken into, how many were unlocked?
All 7. All 7 for the ones that the firearms were stolen. All of them were unlocked.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
I've been getting some inquiries from the Cedar Grove subdivision over on Wolverine Trail about some speeding traffic over there. One lady mentioned me about them rubber speed bumps, and I said, well, I couldn't address it, but I could bring it up. I know other subdivisions had the same problem, but I've had a lot of calls here in the last 10 days from the Cedar Grove subdivision, especially Wolverine Trail.
Speed bumps and speed devices like that, they have their place. But if you have them installed, it'll be, in my opinion, that the city will be getting calls later on because it's tearing up somebody's car for having them in place. So it can help on one end, but on the other end of it, it can also be a deterrent as well too. And I'm sure the fire department may have other arguments in regards to trucks and different things like that going through, as well as the wintertime when they want this street scraped off from the ice and you have these speed bumps and things in place. It'll be hard to to scrape those things with speed bumps and different other devices in place as well too. So it has its pluses, but it also has its downfalls to it as well too.
I appreciate you explaining it. I know I had some issues come up to ask me about it, and I said I'd bring it up to you during the meeting, so I appreciate you.
One of the things, Alderman Waldron, one of the things that we're doing, if they will contact me, the police department or Lieutenant Goins, he puts out a close watch as far as traffic is concerned. He try to do it on a weekly basis, so somebody can contact us and we can have that street or that area put on that close watch list, and we'll try our best to step up enforcement in those areas.
Yeah, I just signaling out that subdivision because that's what I've had the most calls last 10 days, but it's really citywide, you know. People on the subdivisions, they're speeding down there, especially, about 4 o'clock. That's what people say that they see more around 4 o'clock in the evening.
Everybody's trying to get home or soccer practice or somewhere like that, yeah. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Mr. David McGowan.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, thank you. You have the parks numbers for the month. We'll drop down to the project. You can see we started rehabbing that home on 468 Stones River Road that the city's gonna put into use. You see some of our past events. October 22nd was Zombie Night at the Park. The 23rd was Goblins and Goodies. Upcoming events, November 11th is our Veterans Day ceremony at 11 a.m. That'll be taking place at the park at the Memorial Wall. Upcoming meetings, Park and Rec Advisory, November 15th at 6, Greenway Advisory, November 15th at 7, November 18th, Senior Center Advisory at 4 p.m. Senior Center will be having their Thanksgiving lunch at the center at 12 p.m. noon on November the 18th. Our Veterans Day ceremony, like I said, will take place at 11 o'clock at the Wall. We have 4 guest speakers lined up. We have the prayer taken care of. We're going to do a moment of silence. We'll do the Star Spangled Banner, play taps. Freedom Field, that's where we display our flags. Flags can be purchased for $10. They'll display the name of your veteran. Those will be on display during the ceremony, and they're yours to take home at the end of the ceremony. Still available to buy a brick, $35 from Memorial Wall. Contact the parks or go online. Those forms are available. Any questions?
Quick question, how's the dog park coming on?
It's coming along good. I think Adam and his crew, Stormwater, has finished pretty much the grading. I think Garland's gotten some quotes on the parking lot and the paving, so we're moving right along with that.
Thank you.
David, talk to me a little bit about the first Zombie Night at the park, how that went.
Actually, last year was planned and it got rained out last year. Far better turnout than we anticipated. I think next year we're going to have to expand our area. We were expecting a little bit of a crowd, but we weren't really expecting that big of a crowd. It may have had something to do with our MC on the mic, the vice mayor, keeping everybody involved. But yeah, we were real pleased with the turnout.
Wonderful. And then with Goblins and Goodies, around 3,000 kids?
I would say 3,000. That's always a good turnout for us. Didn't have as many vendors this year as we have in the past. I think a lot of that has to do with local businesses. They're understaffed, so they couldn't take the time to come out. But even with that, we still had a good turnout.
Wonderful. Any other questions?
Getting back to the dog park, I go by there and I see, the advance of it's going on, and each time I come by there and I think, well, what kind of safeguards we gonna have there to keep people from at night taking the dogs and dumping them off?
Well, hopefully we won't run into that issue. It should be locked up at night. We're going to have a security light out there. Both sides would be fenced, but that's kind of like at the park. People drop their stray animals off all the time. Cats are running wild. If that does happen, that's just, we'll have to take that on a day-to-day basis.
How high is the fence around the outer perimeter?
I think it's 5 foot. Is it scheduled for 5 foot? Yes, sir.
You might consider about going higher because it'd be easier for someone just to pull up there and lay a dog over than it would be if it was 8 or 10 foot, because I'm a dog person now, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I'd hate for that thing to turn into to dog town, you know, with stray dogs.
Oh, yeah, we would definitely wouldn't want that either, and we definitely do not encourage that. But that's, you know, that's kind of what we've run into here in the park lately. People drop their pets off and leave signs on them that, you know, if you want them, come get them, and we definitely discourage that. There are other avenues. If you don't want your pet, there are other ways that, that can be handled. Yeah, so hopefully we won't encounter that. Somewhere down the line we may, so right now the plans call for a 5-foot fence. We haven't gotten that far in the process yet, so that may be something we look at to alter a little bit.
I would like to consider a higher fence, because that might deter somebody from, because I'd hate to see everybody from Antioch bring the stray dogs to Laverne and put them over the fence, and it'd just be more work for y'all.
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
Thank you,
Any other
David.
question? Thank you.
Moving on to Finance Department, Ms. Phyllis Rogers.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Tonight's financial reports through the end of September for the general fund. Expenses are still exceeding revenues. Hopefully that'll turn around in the next couple of months, because we are starting to collect property tax, which helps out in that area. Local sales tax, we're up about 1.2 million as compared to the budget, and up about 950,000 as compared to prior year. State street aid revenues have exceeded expenditures by approximately 266,000. Stormwater revenues have exceeded expenditure approximately 38,000, and in the water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenditures by approximately 859,000. Second page is the various bank balances, and the third page is a comparison to prior year. Revenues in general fund are up about 314,000. Expenses are also up about 1.4 million. And then in the water sewer fund, revenues up about 116, and expenses are up about 260. Tap fees are also up about 19,000. Any questions?
Just one real quick one to confirm. I know you and I talked about this earlier, but the ARPA funds, we did receive our half of it
Yes.
today.
We received notice yesterday morning that the funds will be deposited today, and they were there this morning in our general fund bank account. And we will be transferring those into their own bank account called the ARPA fund.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Moving on to the library, Ms. Donna Bebout.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, good evening. For the month of October, you can see our statistics there. Our attendance was 2,082, a little bit lower than last month, but we were closed for a week while we did inside painting. The painters were able to get a lot of the rooms taken care of while we were open, and then we did close when they brought in the scaffolding and the lift. But the library looks amazing. I want to just touch on a few dates here. From November 1st through November 30th, we have a beautiful display that I would love for you all to come by to see. It's called Honoring Our Veterans, and this display was presented to us by the Stones River Chapter DAR. Inside of this display are family members of some of the members of DAR. They have fathers, there's a mother who was away, and there was grandfathers, cousins, and sons. So it's a great display honoring our veterans. Monday, November the 8th, we will have the Laverne Library Board meeting here at City Hall at 5:30. And then starting November the 15th, going all the way through February the 19th, 2022, we're going to have a holiday reading program. Our patrons love these reading programs that we started back when we were doing curbside. It's just a way to get the patrons involved and to get more items circulating and checked out. And for every item that they check out, they get an entry that goes into a box, and we draw 2 times a month, and everyone's very excited about that. So we're going to do it in November, December, January, and February. We're going to cover 3 of those holidays there. Then November the 25th and 26th, we will be closed, the library will be closed for the holiday, and then we take the 27th as a regular day off on the Saturday so that our staff can have a full weekend. So the library will be closed for the Thanksgiving holidays those days, but we will resume our regular hours on Monday, November 29th. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on to the water treatment plant. Mr. Danny.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, I trust that you all have our report in front of you. A couple items that took place this month. On October 19th, Eaton was on site to take care of the automatic transfer switch upgrade. That was installed successfully. The breaker portion of that for the repair kit down at the intake was not taken care of due to them not having the right part. It has been rescheduled to December 7th. On October 26th, we did take the old side of the plant down in order to take a look at the 4 18-inch isolation valves. Those were adjusted in order to close completely, as well as filter 3's rewash valve was replaced with a new one. Also, our flushing program is completed. We completed that October 7th. We completed flushing of all 235 total flushing sites for a total of just over 5 million gallons. Any questions?
Danny, can you talk to me about the complaints? I see we had 13, and just kind of walk us through those if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. We had 10 complaints for low pressure, 1 complaint for a red stain caused by the water, 1 complaint for milky or cloudy water, and 1 complaint for high pressure. For the low pressure complaints, 5 were due to failing PRVs, is what we determined. 2 were due to tie-ins of the 24-inch main. So I think at the same time that they were tying it in, they called about the water being off. 2 were due to their meters being turned off, and 1 had a normal pressure of 70 PSI when it was checked. For the red stain and milky cloudy water complaints, water samples were taken for both of those, with everything coming back within range. So as well as a high pressure complaint, it was also due to a failing PRV, failing open versus closed.
And PRVs are the pressure release valves.
Yes, sir.
For those watching
Yeah,
now.
the pressure regulators, you typically have your meter box, and then right behind it have another box with the pressure regulator on the other side.
Was there any determination as to what was causing the red stain or the cloudy, milky that's described here?
Nothing came back within the samples, so everything was within range. There's speculation, but nobody likes to do that if you're not having the accurate numbers. But for the manganese, the iron, for anything else that would potentially affect that, it all came back within normal range.
Was there any follow-up with these residents to see if it continued?
Not at this point, but I will definitely reach out to those two customers and make sure that we do that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I've had the same red stains at my house. It doesn't happen, it happens over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's, like I use a styrofoam cup, you know, a lot, the great tap water. It's got a pink red stain at the bottom. I don't think it happens, but it happens over a period of time.
Okay. Yeah, this is the first that we've gotten of this complaint that I'm aware of, but we will definitely keep a close eye on that. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we will move right on into old business. Second reading ordinance 2021-28, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 14F, Group A, parcels 1.01 and parcel All right, and tax map 14 parcels 36, 36.01, and 36.02 consisting of approximately 8.62 acres located adjacent to 301 Bill Stewart Boulevard from an R1 low-density residential zoning district to a PDR, planned density residential zoning district, with a R2 medium-density residential-based zoning district. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on August 31st, 2021. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Coates. Is there a second?
Second for discussion.
Second by Vice Mayor No.
Just going to give it one last shot here. I'm totally against this. I think those people out there have got enough on their plate, so even though it's a small amount, I'm just totally against it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
No.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
No.
I vote aye. Second reading passes. Second reading ordinance 2021-29, an ordinance to amend Title II of the Laverne Municipal Code by adding a new Chapter 9 entitled Laverne Beautification and Arts Advisory Committee. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Honeycutt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Coates. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2021-30, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 general fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve by Alderman Coates. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Alderwoman Honeycutt. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Honeycutt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to new business. Resolution 2021-29, a resolution authorizing the City of Laverne to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor No, our second. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
And resolution passes. Resolution 2021-30, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the city needs and directing disposal of the same. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Honeycutt, our second. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2021-31, a resolution to accept the Cottages of Lake Forest Phase 7 subdivision. This received an unfavorable recommendation at the September 28th, 2021 meeting. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second the discussion.
Okay, I will open it up for discussion.
Just want to ask the staff who can find out, have the punch list been fully completed? As of the Planning Commission, it had not been approved, so I just want to make sure we're heading in the right direction.
Mayor, Vice Mayor Board, at this time, they have completed the punch list. There were outstanding stormwater items that have been addressed, but according to my walkthrough and the walkthrough of my inspectors, all items are complete at this time.
Thank you.
And was there a reason why it took so long to get to that point? I know with Planning Commission, it went several months where we both didn't have the applicant nor resolution on this.
My understanding was that, I think like everybody else, they were having problems getting their contractor moving in a timely manner. I think that's kind of endemic right now, but that's the only excuse I've got.
Okay. Any other questions for the city engineer? Thank you. Any other questions?
That's why I thought when I read this, I know last week it said not completed, and then it says here, staff approval. Punch list has been completed. That's why I made a motion to approve.
Any other discussion? Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Resolution passes. Motion to approve a letter of intent from D7-5 LLC to purchase the land located at 5175 Murfreesboro Road. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor No. Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Discussion.
I'll open it up to discussion.
So I've been thinking about this, and I want to apologize to this board and to the citizens watching at home. Last week, it was my own fault. I was having email problems. I even came in early, Thursday, and got this iPad from Bruce so I could come out here and read some more about this, because I couldn't get it opened up. So last Thursday at the discussion, the only thing that I could see on here was the talk about the price, the $5,000, and that's because things were moving so fast, I never had time to study about it. So I went home Thursday night, I started then, I worked on it Friday, worked on it a little bit today, and after talking to realtors, economic development, the property around that property is selling for less than what originally, everybody thought it was worth millions of dollars. Actually, the building, and Randolph, I guess, would probably say something, the building is not in great shape, so the building's not really worth much. If this thing goes through and the people that's buying this, as soon as Randolph and them are out, they're going to demolish that building. That building's terrible. I know the city spent a little bit of money on it, but what I found out was, and like I said, it's my fault and it's my ignorance. I should have got with Glenn, I guess, but I didn't. The way this is going to play out, it's going to be, in the long run, it's going to be something really good for Laverne. It's not going to be any developer that's going to come in and buy it and build a car wash or whatever. The people that are interested in this are also interested in the property behind it, and they want it all together. I was looking at the $5,000 and come to find out if the closing cost of this thing or closing of it is 6 months from now, they're going to pre-lease it back to the city for $1 for 12 months. Is that correct? 12 months, $1. Plus, they're going to pay all the taxes on it. So, as far as the value of the property, it appraised for $950, and we're getting $850, and we'll get all that money back plus some. And then if they put some good retail in there, which, let's face it, this city is starving for good retail, starving. And we have an opportunity with this group that's coming in to make some good retail and help the city in the long run. So Thursday night, I downplayed this and talked about it, but tonight I'll let you know that I'm totally for it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I'll jump in.
I still say the same that I said Thursday night. You know, it's going to be 2 years before they do anything with it anyway. So what is the property going to be worth in 2 years? They're going to lease it back to us for $1, but we already own it. We can stay there a year or two and won't cost us nothing. It's just not good practice to sell city property $100,000 under appraisal. I'll ask anybody in this room, if they'll take $100,000 less than their house, I'll buy it. Do I have any takers? If you'll sell me your house $100,000 less than appraisal, I'll buy it. I don't believe we'll have no takers. I rest my case.
Alderman Coates.
Yes, I did a lot of research after receiving the appraisal, which the city received. called the appraiser 3 times a day and didn't get a response because I had some questions. But the concern I have is that we as elected officials have a fiduciary responsibility for the city and its citizens. And I believe that the price of the appraisal is in the correct range. So for us to take $100,000 less, I think is not a good move as far as I'm concerned. Number two, just so people understand, it's presently zoned C4. So the planned Dairy Queen is not eligible to go there at the present time. And in addition, the minimum requirements for C4 is 40,000 square feet of lot land, and the appraisal indicates 34,200. So we have several issues to overcome, but the main point for me is that I think to give it away under value is not a good move, and although we're getting the free rent for using the buildings for 1 year, it's going to take us more than 1 year for us to build a new building. So I think timing-wise, although I'm for retail, as everyone knows, the timing is just not right for us at the present time.
Well, let me jump in here with some of the numbers. I did go through, of course, I've seen some discussion about the property tax appraisal, which we've reviewed here at staff level and believe they are drastically off. I've seen people talk about the millions of dollars. Right now, for Murfreesboro Road, 1 acre is going for about $1 million. This property is 3/4 of an acre. So if you took what the market currently bears, that would be $750,000. That's current market. At the same time, you have to look at what else we gain as a city. Of course, we gain sales tax. A very conservative estimate for yearly sales tax for Dairy Queen, which is what we're talking about for this property, is roughly $17,000. On top of that, you've got property tax. So you're able to make this money back within 2 to 3 years. At the same time, you've also got where the developer has under contract the land behind it. And they are looking at bringing in big box stores to partner with that. Now, I've heard the argument of we just need to wait 1 year, 2 year. We can wait 1 year, 2 year, but Dairy Queen will be in Antioch, right along our border, doing what Smyrna currently does, where they built up along our border and our residents go there with their sales tax dollars. So the board can do that if it chooses to, but again, this is a missed opportunity if we choose to. Additionally, our economic development team has been working extremely hard. Dairy Queen, we've been speaking with them for several years. At one point, the one that's currently built in Smyrna, they were talking before they built that, having that here in Laverne. Now we've got it back on track. We've got a couple big box stores there, have another strip mall just built, and then as it was just announced with the Planning Commission workshop, BJ's Wholesale is coming in. So there's lots of growth, lots of opportunity here, and at least with this parcel, looking at what is coming, what they're planning versus basically waiting it out and then go find new commercial at that point, when you're looking at those two, I'm going with what we know we can get now.
Well, let me just another comment back on that. The city holds the key to that area and the 7+ acres behind it. Does it not hurt to go back and ask the representative that put in the offer to go back at $950 and see what they say? Does it hurt to wait a month to ask that question? If they say no, then obviously we understand, but I feel better that if we could negotiate and leave it to you, Mayor, as requested, to go back to them and ask to get the full value of the appraisal at $950.
Our economic development director reached out to them, let them know that there were some concerns, and that essentially this is their final offer. Also, and just to address, I know our city administrator and I were talking about the zoning portion today in my office. during this due diligence period, we can bring it through, because we still own it, we can bring it through the Planning Commission and through the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to have it zoned to C2. That's a very easy process for us, and then that ensures that it is properly zoned.
It's interesting that the applicant trying to buy it did not understand that situation as far as the zoning. For me, the 7 acres behind it, you know, obviously they want to get their hands on that property, but they want the frontage onto Murfreesboro Road, and that is worth more money, as far as I'm concerned. The value of the property is worth more than $850.
Any other discussion?
Well, I just bring up again, property is bringing more than the appraised value now. So if we sell it for $900,000, the appraised value, it should bring, if you look at what's been sold, it'll bring more. I just don't see this board being stewards of the city's money is sitting here selling a piece of property that's less than a appraised value. If we went and bought property, we would have to buy the appraised value regardless of what we was gonna do with it. It's not good practice. I know when I left 3 years ago, I left y'all with plenty of money, but $100,000 might not mean nothing to you, but it does to me and the taxpayers.
I don't think anybody said that, so.
You got to look at the taxpayers' money, and that's just like wasting at least $100,000, and I just don't see it.
Well, whereas you look at it as wasting, I look at it as an investment in our commercial district. With that, Alderman Waldron?
So,
No.
are we done discussing?
Yes, sir, I started calling the roll. Alderwoman Honeycutt?
Aye.
Alderman Coates?
No.
Vice Mayor, no?
I can't discuss no more. Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Motion to approve premium pay for city employees. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Alderwoman Honeycutt. Alderman Waldron?
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt?
Aye.
Alderman Coates?
Aye.
Vice Mayor, no?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes.
Aye.
First reading ordinance 2021-31, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 general fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderman Coates. I'll second it. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor, no?
Aye.
First reading passes. First reading ordinance 2021-32, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 stormwater fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Honeycutt. I'll second it. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor, no?
Aye.
First reading passes. First reading ordinance 2021-33, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2021-2022 water sewer fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Honeycutt. I'll second it. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor, no?
Aye.
First reading passes. Moving on to appoint or remove board and committee members. First, we have the Historical Preservation Advisory Committee. We have one term vacant, and we have one applicant, which is Chuck Isbell. I will appoint him to that board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Moving on to B, Parks and Recreation. We have one term vacant. Again, we have one applicant, Chuck Isbell. I'll appoint him to that board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And then the Planning Commission. We have two terms that expire, or that did expire on the 31st of October. I will reappoint Earl Garvin and appoint Jim Hessman to that board. And then moving on to 16, motion to approve a professional services agreement with Reagan Smith Associates for the design of improvements for Fergus Road and the realignment of Hollandale. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Coates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor No. Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Moving on to our last item. Motion to approve a professional service agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates for the design of improvements for Old Nashville Highway. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Coates. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Alderwoman Honeycutt. Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderwoman Honeycutt.
Aye.
Alderman Coates.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes. Moving on to Mayor and Alderman comments. Alderwoman Honeycutt.
I just have a couple things tonight. I want to thank all of our police officers that were out on extra patrol on Halloween. It was good to see them out and keeping the kiddos and everybody safe. I'm also thrilled about the, let me get my things in order here. I don't know, I lost my, anywho. I'm glad we could all come to an agreement on paying the city employees during COVID. I think that's a really great thing, not only for our first responders, but for all of our city personnel as well. It's well deserved. And as always, I'd like to thank our fire and police department for what they do day in and day out.
Thank you. Alderman Coates.
I'd like to say shout out to the Economic Development Department there, Tom Broker and Julie, for doing a wonderful job and getting BJ's heading in our direction.
Absolutely. Alderman Waldron.
I want to mention the reason I voted no on the Fergus Road and the Old Nashville Highway. As my knowledge, it's no money in the budget for that. They had to come out of, I guess, the general fund. And, you know, I'm a little reluctant of dipping into the general fund. I come from the old bunch. When I first got elected alderman, we didn't have no money. And we didn't have no money in the much money to do with, and I kind of watch the money probably more than a lot of them does. I'm sure the state can reimburse some money, but you know I'm just a little bit reluctant to dip in the general fund. But I think both projects need to be done. I just wasn't really comfortable about the way that we're going to dip in the general fund, but it passed, so. It's history. And the fire chief mentioned about setting the clocks back this Saturday night. It'd be November the 6th. It goes in effect, I think, early Sunday morning. Set your clocks back, and that's a perfect time to check your batteries in your smoke alarm, check your hose pipe, like he said, winterize your house, and don't forget about winterizing your automobile. And don't forget about your pets. Make sure your pets have got shelter and fresh water. And that's all I really got, and I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you.
Vice Mayor No.
Back in 2010, whenever that board came in that year, they went to work with $700 and some thousand. By the time that board had left, they had $7 or $8 million in there. We had Walmart, they owned the fire department. We were well on our way to a lot of good stuff. The next board came in, when they left, we had $21 million. But we didn't have nothing. So this board is trying to get back some retail, and it's hard to sit up here on this board and make decisions. I agree with what we voted on. I agree with Alderman Coates. But I have to believe in our economic development team. Alderman Coates just said himself, he was glad that Tom and Julie was doing what they do. That means they're working hard. And if we don't listen to their advice a little bit about economic and about retail and the things that they've been doing them, we need to get rid of them. No sense in spending all that money on that department if we're not going to listen to them. As it was mentioned, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know it till today. We got BJ's, BJ's Club, BJ's
Wholesale.
BJ's Wholesale. So our economic department is killing. They're working a lot, so I have to trust in them. And when I checked on all of this with the price of property, with what the property across the street sold for the other day, which is 3 times bigger than that lot, the property next door, what it sold for, and I talked with economic development, this group coming in is going to be good for the city. It's not going to happen this weekend. Forget that. It's going to take a while. But that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm proud of the board when it comes to our infrastructure. We are working, this board has passed items to work on Waldron, Stones River, Fergus, Old Nashville Highway, Center Point. We are aggressively working on fixing some long overdue infrastructure issues. I'm so glad to see that because I can't say that I remember a time whenever this much activity has been going on to improve our infrastructure. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier when we were discussing a few items, BJ's Wholesale is coming to Laverne. It is on our Planning Commission meeting for next week, and we're very excited. I can remember the team meeting in New York with them pre-COVID, and this has taken a lot of hard work from our economic team, Julie Wilson, Tom Broker, Graham Coates, Kyle Brown, myself. We've all been working towards getting this to come to the city and be a beacon for us. This will be a first in the state for BJ's. And if you're not familiar with them, they are from up north, and they are competitors for Sam's and Costco. So this is what we like to see, is we like to see retail growth. We know for years the focus was industrial, then residential. Now we're getting our commercial focus. So with that, I call this meeting adjourned.